What is up, YouTube, and welcome to this Spider-Man Far From Home and Avengers 4 Endgame video. So if you're new to the channel, please do like and subscribe down below. The channel isn't really doing that well at the moment, and any like, share, subscribe is super appreciated and gives me more motivation to actually upload a bit more, because at the moment my motivation for uploading is just at an all-time low. My motivation for Spider-Man Far From Home and Avengers 4 is at an all-time high. So we've had some Lego stuff come out from leaks. Obviously there's Hydra always leaking plot points, and it's always Lego that seems to be the earliest leak for any of the Marvel movies. But first of all, I'm going to talk about that in a sec. That'll be spoilers. But Mysterio is interesting because they do mention Hydra and also Molten Man in this movie, or these Lego sets. Now, it's interesting because we had word from CXP that really we're going to be getting a hero version of Mysterio. He knows all about these elementals who will be the villains of Spider-Man Far From Home, and they are actually going to be the villains, and he knows all about them, and Nick Fury actually recruits him to stop them and team up with Spider-Man, which is most odd. Now, what is weird here is the fact that the elementals, they have their basis in the comics, and in a storyline they actually sought to come into our world and wanted to take over and use a host, and maybe Mysterio here is that person. Now, personally, I'm starting to think Mysterio was actually involved with letting the creation of these elementals in some way, and is trying to make up for what he's done by helping Nick Fury and S.H.I.E.L.D. take down these threats. Now, Hydra Man and Molten Man are other characters in the comics, and they are blending the elementals with other sort of Spidey villains, very lesser known villains, to be honest. So what they're doing here is very interesting. Now the question is, I think Mysterio is definitely to blame for creating these elementals and causing these threats to come into our world, which I think is pretty darn cool, to be honest. And I think by the end of the movie, he may have to fight Spider-Man, and it may be revealed what actually happened and what his plans were, and, well, how they failed. And Spider-Man may have to stop him because he may want to go the extra mile to defeat these elementals, or be like, you know what, I've revealed these things, I've let these things go, so I might as well just use them and be, you know, evil, which would be very cool, I think, to see in action. I'm excited to see where that goes next, and I do want Mysterio to actually be a villain, and I do think that it may be something to do with technology. A few people have said that it may be due to mysticism and things like that. I don't think that's right. I think that his powers do come from technology, and that will be like the Hollywood stuntman origin, where all these things are, his powers are fake or whatever. But here, I think it's using the technology, and I definitely do think the Tinkerer is involved if you look at his suit. But what we've had here is some very cool things from Spider-Man Far From Home. So we've had a Molten Man, Hydra Man battle set. So that's not really too much. We know that they're going to battle. We've seen the kind of behind the scenes and things like that. But Stark's plane and drone attack is interesting. Obviously, Stark's plane is quite curious. Does that mean that Stark will be involved again? Does that mean he will survive Avengers 4? That is very curious. Of course, you could simply just say Stark's plane, and it's literally just the thing with Spider-Man and of course Peter Parker. He's gone to Europe, so it may be the sheer fact that he has gone to Europe on Stark's plane, and then he gets attacked by drones. That's simply all that could actually be. But what's really cool here is the fact that Avengers Endgame, if you're wondering what I'm looking at my screen over here, by the way, in case few people actually wonder what I'm actually talking about or looking at. But here we have Captain America Attack of the Outrider. That is 20,000 pieces. That's interesting there. The Outriders are not done. It does look like, of course, that the Outriders will be attacking once more. And it'll be interesting to see where they go next. Will the Outriders be stealthing in and attacking the Avengers like they did in the Infinity comic? I would like to see that, to be honest. Next up, we've got War Machine Crusher. Doesn't really say much about that. Maybe he's getting an upgrade. We have the Iron Man Armor Room, which, again, doesn't really say that much. But there were behind-the-scenes images where we saw Tony Stark looking at loads of different armors. So it does look like that kind of concept art will be coming forward here, and we will be getting his entire kind of his Iron Brigade again in this movie. Next up as well, we've got the Avengers Super Quinjet, which is interesting. Of course, it's a massive Quinjet I expect we will be using to transport the entirety of the Avengers into this next set, which is the Battle of the Assembled Avengers. So finally, Cap will say, Avengers Assemble. Finally, he will say it. It's pretty much confirmed here that he will be saying that in this movie, and this is going to be the final battle. That's 100,000 pieces. That's quite a lot of pieces there, to be honest, isn't it, when you think about it? So that is just an insight as to what will be happening next in Avengers Endgame and Spider-Man Far From Home. So there, of course, with the Iron Man armor room, hopefully an Iron Brigade, and we'll begin the Outriders attack once more. But that is it for this video. Please drop a like, please subscribe, and I'll see you soon.